I want you to think about the last personal development book that you purchased. When you finished reading that book, did you put it into practice? So what do I mean by that? Did you actually take what you learned in that book and start applying it in your life? When you were reading the first page and you came up with an insight and it was there, you're like, this is really powerful. If I were able to apply this in my life, that would make such a big difference. The question I have for all of us is, did you apply that in your life? What I've found from the coaching that I've done with a lot of people is that most of the time when we learn and get inspired and grow from something, we talk about it with other people, but we don't actually implement it and put it into practice in our life. The whole purpose of this podcast is to study books together and not only study it, but we're going to actually take it and we're going to apply the lessons that we learn in our life immediately so we can really start to grow and get stronger and stronger. And our mindset will get stronger and stronger. And when we work on the internal mindset, when we work on us on the inside first, what we're going to realize is when we do that, the outside world will start to shift. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to bring up the text from the book and we're going to study this together. We're going to go line by line. Sometimes this podcast may only be focused on one paragraph of this book. So as long as it takes us to get through this book, as many podcasts as need to be done to get through this book, it'll take. Because I'd rather get through one book and really understand it and really be applying it in our life this whole time that we're going to be studying it together than to quickly go through this book and put it on the shelf and then not use it and then find another one and do the same thing. So let's do things a little bit differently than we've done in the past. We're going to study this, we're going to learn and grow, and we're going to focus on one line at a time. And we're going to focus on how can we apply this in our life. If you find value in this podcast, there's going to be a lot of time spent doing this to give to you so that you can grow and get stronger. Because I believe that the whole purpose in life is to take our light, the information that we know, the strengths that we have inside, and to share it with other people. So I'm going to be giving a lot of that out. And a way that you can give back is to buy me a cup of coffee. And if you look at the link below, if you go to that site, you're able to buy a cup of coffee and support the show. So let's dive in and get started. This book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, the reason that I picked this first is because it's a really powerful book. It essentially what it says in a nutshell is that whatever we say consistently, whatever we think consistently plants a seed in our subconscious mind. It's a deep part of our mind. And that deep part of our mind is connected to infinite intelligence, to the divine, to a higher power. And when we keep planting those seeds over and over, what ends up happening is we see it internally first, and then externally it shows up on the outside. So what do I mean by that? If I think over and over, I have a lack of money in my life. I can't afford that. I can't do this. I don't have the money to do that. Then what's going to show up in my life is lack. And that's the power of planting these seeds in our subconscious mind. So we're going to start with chapter 1 right now. It's called The Treasure House Within You. And again, the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to read a few lines and then I'm going to pause and then we're going to talk about it so that we understand the lines as we go through them. If we don't understand it, we could be missing a very key concept to the book. Infinite riches are all around you. If you'll open your mental eyes and behold the treasure house of infinity within you, there is a gold mine within you from which you can extract everything you need to live life gloriously, joyously, and abundantly. So what does that mean? We have these infinite riches all around us and within us. Well, if we look at this subconscious mind that we're talking about, this subconscious mind is a very powerful force that is within us. If you think about how do you breathe? How do you blink your eyes? How does your heart beat? How are all these things happening automatically? All the blood flow in your body that's happening as you breathe, you're breathing in and out. How are you doing that? All the organs in your body are somehow functioning. Your liver, your lungs, your heart is beating. How is that happening? What is causing it to beat? And that's what the subconscious mind is. It's this powerful force that controls all these systems within us. And magically or miraculously, we're able to do all the things that we do because of this force that's within us. So the next time you think to yourself, am I really powerful? The answer is absolutely. Because if you're walking around with all of these organs that are functioning, and you're breathing and all these things are happening automatically, that's a powerful force that exists and resides right inside of you. Many are sound asleep because they do not know about this gold mine of infinite intelligence and boundless love within themselves. Whatever you want, you can draw forth. So let's talk about this line for a second. Many are sound asleep. We were never taught this. This isn't our fault. We never went to school and they sat down and talked about our subconscious mind and all the power that exists within us. We were taught how to learn something, to memorize it, to spit it out, and then we would get a grade on the test, and that would tell us how we know this information. This is very different. We're asleep. It's not purposely, it's just because we weren't educated on it. And that's why we're taking the time here to dissect and digest this information so that when you walk away from this, you have a complete understanding of what it is, and most importantly, how you can apply it in your life. A magnetized piece of steel will lift about 12 times its own weight. And if you demagnetize the same piece of steel, it won't even lift a feather. Similarly, there are two types of men. There is the magnetized man who is full of confidence and faith. He knows that he is born to win and succeed. And then there is the type of man who is demagnetized. He's full of fears and doubts. Now, I know that he's using the term man here, and clearly there are going to be women listening to this. I'm just reading the words that he wrote, but just assume from this point forward that when I say man or woman, I'm talking about everyone. I'm not leaving anyone out here. So the question for you is, which type of man or woman are you? Are you the one that walks around with fears and doubts? Or are you the one that says opportunities come to me easily and effortlessly? The only difference between those two people is what they're thinking and what they're saying. And this is going to come up over and over again. And I want you to start to become aware of what is it that you're thinking about on a consistent basis. And what are you saying to others on a consistent basis? Because when you do that, you're planting the seeds in your subconscious mind and you will get more of the same. When we say you're in control, you are in control of that. No one's going to force you to speak or think in any specific way. Now, it might seem habitual because it is. You've gotten used to a way of thinking and you've gotten used to a way of speaking. But when you become aware of it, you can shift out of it and you can start to build a new habit. So back to the man who's full of fear and doubts. Opportunities come and he says, I might fail. I might lose money. People will laugh at me. This type of man will not get very far in life because if he's afraid to go forward, he will simply stay where he is, rather become a magnetized man or woman and discover the master secret of all ages. You are in complete control. You have so much power inside of you. Doing this, it may seem very difficult and challenging at first. The only reason it's difficult and challenging at first is because you haven't done it before. Think of the time when you first started to drive your car. Was that easy or was that difficult? It was difficult because you hadn't done it. But I'm betting if you've been driving for quite some time now, it's gotten easier and easier. In fact, you probably drive the car to the point now where you'll be driving for an hour and you'll suddenly say, oh my gosh, I don't even remember driving because you were on autopilot. And that autopilot will come from just practicing doing this. So as we read this, don't feel like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Rather say, hey, I'm going to practice this one step at a time every single day, and I'm going to get better and better at doing this. And I will form a habit that will allow me to implement this in my life and allow me to control my life. The master secret of the ages. What, in your opinion, is the master secret of ages? The secret of atomic energy, thermonuclear energy, the neutron bomb, interplanetary travel? No, not any of these. Then what is the master secret? Where can one find it and how can it be contacted and brought into action? The answer is extraordinarily simple. The secret is the marvelous, miracle working power found in your own subconscious mind, the last place that most people would seek it. Did you ever notice how that when you're looking to find an answer, most of the time you're looking outside? You're looking out there for the answer. Someone else must know the answer. Let me ask friends, let me ask family, let me ask people in general. And the question is, where is the best answer for you to find, to follow, to guide you and to guide your life? It's right on the inside. Back to where it says in the book, it's the last place most people would seek it. It is right inside of us. It is that power that exists right inside of us, that power of our subconscious mind, which is in control of all the systems in our body. The marvelous power of your subconscious. You can bring into your life more power, more wealth, more health, more happiness, and more joy by learning to contact and release the hidden power of your subconscious mind. You need not acquire this power. You already possess it. This line is so powerful. You need not acquire this power. You already possess it. It already exists right inside of you. The strength that you need is right inside of you. No one told us that when we were younger. No one told us that we have this super strong power right within us. And that's what I'm going to keep pointing to you. And that's what this book is going to keep pointing you to, is the power that exists right inside of you. And ultimately, as we go through this and we spend all this time together, you're going to begin to believe this. And when you believe it, your confidence is going to increase. You're going to get unbelievably strong in your own shoes. And then you literally will be able to get whatever you want in your life, not because of some magical thing out there, because of the magic that exists right inside of you. You need not acquire this power. You already possess it, but you want to learn how to use it. You want to understand it so that you can apply it in all departments of your life. You want to learn how to apply it in all areas of your life. Think about that for a second. If we can take this power that exists within our subconscious mind and we can use that force to help us in our relationships, to help us with our money, to help us with our career or our job or the business that we own, to help us with our health and wellness, to help us with our spirituality. If we're able to do that, what does life begin to look like? As you follow the simple techniques and processes set forth in this book, you can gain the necessary knowledge and understanding. You can be inspired by a new light and you can generate a new force enabling you to realize your hopes and make all your dreams come true. Decide now to make your life grander, greater, richer, and nobler than ever before. Notice that sentence. It says, decide now. When we make a decision, we cut off all other options. It's not maybe I'll do this. If I read this and it starts to make sense, maybe I'll make it work in my life. No. A decision says, I'm doing it, period, the end. It's going to happen. Enough is enough. I'm not letting anything else push me away from that thing that I want. I will go for it no matter what. That's a decision. Within your subconscious depths lies infinite wisdom, infinite power, and infinite supply of all that is necessary, which is waiting for your development and expression. Let's repeat that again. An infinite supply of all that is necessary, which is waiting for development and expression. It's waiting for you to realize that you have the power and to start implementing the tools that the book is going to show us as we move forward so that we can get the things that we want in our life. And the real secret is simple. Whatever you keep thinking and saying over and over is what you're going to experience in your outside world. Did you ever listen to someone say the following? It's the fall, and I always get sick in the fall. I always get a cold. They are literally programming themselves by saying this and thinking this over and over. Why is it that some people never get sick in the fall, and then a person like that is always getting sick every fall? And what we're going to learn again through this book is it's that power within us. Those people that are getting that sickness every fall, it's not their fault. They don't realize that they're using this power that they hold inside in a way that's not going to support or help them. Begin now to recognize these potentialities of your deeper mind, and they will take form in the world without. If we start to pay attention and recognize that we have this incredible power within, and over time, we begin to believe in this power that's right inside of us, we will see that the world outside of us will change. The infinite intelligence within your subconscious mind can reveal to you everything you need to know at every moment of time and point of space, provided you are open-minded and receptive. If someone is listening to the reading of this book and they say to themselves, this is a bunch of nonsense. This stuff doesn't work. I've tried this stuff before and it never works. Aren't you using the power of your subconscious mind by planting the seed that this stuff doesn't work? You are, in essence, proving the fact that this actually does work, and what you say will come to fruition. If you say it doesn't work, you plant the seed in your mind and it says, this doesn't work. And the outside world gives you exactly what it is that you planted. You're right. This doesn't work. So we have to be open and receptive to this information. There'll be judgments, there'll be negative thoughts that may pop up as we read this. And what I'm going to ask you to do throughout the reading of this book is to just notice what's happening, the habitual negative thought that's appearing in your mind, allow it to come up and allow it to go away. Because we must be open and receptive to this information and idea that we have this power within us, and that if we use this power, we'll start to get the things that we want. There's a lot of people that are doing it and they're unconscious that they're actually doing this. They're called an unconscious competent. They're competent, they're getting the results, but they couldn't explain to you what it is that they're doing. And here in this book, we're going to be learning the process. And so that you'll be able to explain not only to yourself, but spread the light to others and help them understand what's actually going on within your subconscious mind, which is creating the results on the outside. You can receive new thoughts, new ideas, enabling you to bring forth new inventions, make new discoveries, or write books and plays. Moreover, the infinite intelligence in your subconscious can impart to you wonderful kinds of knowledge of original nature. It can reveal to you and open the way for perfect expression and true place in your life. Have you ever heard that voice inside of you, that quiet, still voice, that gut feeling, that intuitive feeling that you should go ahead and do something? Where is that coming from? That's coming from the subconscious power that exists within you. Anything that you want to know, any answer you're seeking for is right inside of you. You just have to get yourself into a very quiet and still place and ask questions and listen for the answers. And they may not come up right away. You might ask the question, you might say, "Hey, divine intelligence, provide me with an answer to this question." And then trust that you've just planted the seed. And now, as you're going about your day, you may come up with an idea. You may have someone come and say something which sparks an insight in your mind and says, "That's what I should do." You may, again, out of the blue, someone calls you up and says something to you. Or you're walking down the street and you overhear someone say something and it sparks something in your head. Those things that you observe are no accident. Those things that are coming into our life are no accident. We need to pay attention to those things because they're coming in to serve us. And if we use it to our advantage and if we pay attention, then we'll be able to use that to create more of what we want in our lives. Through the wisdom of your subconscious mind, you can attract the ideal companion as well as the right business associate or partner. It can find the right buyer for your home and provide you with all the money you need and the financial freedom to be, to do, and to go as your heart desires. When I read that paragraph and you hear that you have this power, do you believe that? A lot of people may not believe that you have this power. And what I'm saying is, for us to get the growth that we need for this, just have an open mind and start maybe thinking in a different way than you've always thought. I've heard this so many times. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always gotten. If you continue to think as you've always thought, then you're going to continue to get what you've always gotten. If you continue to speak the way that you always spoke, then you're going to continue to get the things that you always get. And so we have this ability and this power within, and now we're using it to our advantage. It is your right to discover this inner world of thought, feeling, and power of light, love, and beauty. Though invisible, its forces are mighty. Within your subconscious mind, you will find the solution for every problem and the cause for every effect. Because you can draw out the hidden powers, you come into actual possession of the power and wisdom necessary to move forward in abundance, security, joy, and dominion. When you hear that, you have the solution to every single problem right inside of you. What do you think when you hear that? It's hard to believe, I would imagine, especially if you're just getting into this information, that that could be the case, that these answers to anything that we want are existing right inside of us. But the truth is that you are the magic genie. And that's a book that I wrote. It's called You Are the Magic Genie. And the whole premise of that book was all the answers to everything are right inside of you. You're the magic genie. You have the power, and that power comes from our subconscious mind. I have seen the power of the subconscious lift people up and out of crippled states, make them whole, vital, and strong once more, and free to go out into the world of experience, happiness, health, and joyous expression. There is a miraculous healing power in your subconscious that can heal the troubled mind and the broken heart. It can open the prison door of the mind and liberate you. It can free you from all kinds of material and physical bondage. Let's talk about this for a moment. This power that's inside of us actually has the ability to heal us. There was a great book that I read. It was called Dying to Be Me. And the woman in the book had cancer, and it was very late stage cancer. It was to the point where they actually could see all of the tumors. You could literally see them all over her body. They were sticking out all over the place. She weighed like 80 pounds, and she was really on death's door. She goes into the hospital, and she's at a point where they're essentially saying, get everyone in the family to come in because these are the last hours of her life. She has this experience in the hospital where she kind of goes out of consciousness and starts being able to see things and hear things. She's told this message that you have way more to do while you're here on earth. So you're going to come back, you're going to be healed, and you need to get out there and make a difference in people's lives. Now, everyone had counted her out. Again, she had tumors. She was at a point where she was having trouble breathing. She comes back from that state. And within a number of days, not only does she have a full recovery, but all of the tumors literally disappeared from her body. They were literally all over her body. You could see them everywhere. They all disappeared. Now, how does that happen? It's miraculous. But the thing is, we have this healing ability within us. But if we don't believe we have it, and we plant seeds that we don't believe it, like, no, that could never happen. That person was lucky. She had this. It was a spontaneous healing. We make up all kinds of stories in our mind, and we're planting those seeds in our subconscious. Our subconscious says, okay, that's fine. I get what you're saying, and that's what I'll give you. The subconscious mind does not argue with you. It essentially says, whatever you plant inside of me, I will believe and I will make it your life experience. So if we know that to be true, what we really want to start to do is start to realize, if I do have this power and I'm planting in all these negative seeds, then all I have to do really is shift and start putting positive seeds, the things that I want in my life, as if I actually already have them. Necessity of a working basis. Substantial progress in any field of endeavor is impossible in the absence of a working basis, which is universal in its application. You can become skilled in the operation of your subconscious mind. You can practice its powers with the certainty of results in exact proportion to your knowledge of its principles and to your application of them for definite specific purposes and goals you wish to achieve. So let's go back and read that again. You can practice its powers with the certainty of a result in exact proportion to your knowledge of its principles. So this book is going to teach us all about the principles. I'm laying them out as we go along, specific principles, another way to think about it, another way to understand it. The more we learn about this, the more knowledge we get, the more we understand it, the easier it is to be for us to use it and to practice using it. So we want to keep taking in this information and keep studying it on a day-to-day basis. This podcast that you're listening to, this is podcast number 1. My suggestion would be, until the next podcast comes out after this, you should be listening to this every single day until the new one comes out. Why? Because repetition is what plants the seeds in our mind. If I say something over and over and over again, or if I listen to something over and over and over again, or if I study something over and over and over again, it's planting seeds in the subconscious mind. You're going to start to really get and understand this information if you keep studying it, you keep practicing it, and you keep repeating it over and over. So the repetition is very important. Another reason why the repetition is very important is because when we're reading something, when we're watching a movie, when we're listening to a seminar or a webinar, we do what's called a mind trip. And so we're listening to someone speak, and they say something that is interesting to us, and we go off on this mind thought. We start thinking about something else. And all that time we're thinking about something else, what we're doing is we're not paying attention to what the speaker is actually saying. And then we come back and we start listening to them again. And then we go off on another mind trip. And then we miss everything they're saying again for another 30 seconds. And that happens over and over and over again. It's just like now. I am positive that as I've been speaking to you, you've been going off on mind trips, and it's great. You might be having insightful thoughts that would potentially help you. But at the same time, you may be missing out on some things that are really important to hear. That's why the repetition is so important. We're going to repeat this information over and over and over again so that you're going to really get it. And you're going to, all those mind trips that you may have missed, you'll make up for when you're listening to it again and again and again. So repetition is key to understanding. Studying this book over and over and over and over again before going on to any other book would be a key way to really get this information. Being a former chemist, I'd like to point out that if you combine hydrogen and oxygen in the proportion of 2 atoms of the former to 1 of the latter, water will be the result. You are very familiar with the fact that 1 atom of oxygen and 1 atom of carbon will produce carbon monoxide, a poisonous gas. But if you add another atom of oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide, a harmless gas, and so on throughout the vast realm of chemical compounds. You must not think that the principles of chemistry, physics, and mathematics differ from the principles of the subconscious mind. Let us consider a generally accepted principle. Water seeks its own level. This is a universal principle which is applicable to water everywhere. Consider another principle. Matter expands when heated. This is true anywhere, at any time, under any circumstances. You can heat a piece of steel and it will expand regardless whether the steel is found in China, England, or India. It is a universal truth that matter expands when heated. It is a universal truth that whatever you impress on your subconscious mind is expressed on the screen of space as condition, experience, and event. So let's just talk about that for a moment. It's a universal truth that whatever you impress on your subconscious mind is expressed on the screen of space as a condition, experience, and event. Whatever you are putting into your mind through your thoughts, through your spoken words, are going to be exactly what you see on the outside world. Imagine that you're going to go to a party and there's 2 people going to the party, you and a friend. You both go, you kind of separate throughout the party and then you reconvene. And your friend says to you, man, this is such an amazing party. I'm having such a good time. And you say, this is terrible. What are you talking about? I knew it was going to be bad even before I came here. I knew these people were going to be there and it wouldn't be any fun. See, that person decided in advance, they planted the seeds in their mind that this party isn't going to be any fun. And so when they got to the party, they were already looking for ways that it wouldn't be good. And that's what expressed, and that became their experience. However, that other person was at the party and saying to himself, this is going to be great. He went in thinking it was going to be a great time. And so whatever he did during the party was fun and a great time. The only difference was what that person planted in their subconscious mind prior to going to that party. Think about different things that you do on a day-to-day basis when you make a decision in advance that you're not going to be enjoying the thing that you're about to go do. Or maybe you are saying this is going to be amazing and it's going to be a great time, and then you have that great time. The reason is because you're planting the seeds of thought and words into your subconscious mind. We want to start thinking about that when we're going into any situation. What am I saying in advance of actually doing that thing? And you'll start to notice that the things that you're saying consistently are going to be your experience of that event. That's the power of the subconscious mind. That's the power of your thoughts. That's the power of your words. Your prayer is answered because your subconscious mind is principle. And by principle, I mean a way a thing works. For example, the principle of electricity is that it works from a higher to a lower potential. You do not change the principle of electricity when you use it. But by cooperating with the nature, you can bring forth marvelous inventions and discoveries which will bless humanity in countless ways. Your subconscious mind is principle and works according to the law of belief. You must know what belief is, why it works, and how it works. Belief is key to having your subconscious mind work in the way you want to. And what is a belief? A belief is just a thought that we've had over and over again that becomes habitual. It's a thought that we've had over and over again that's become habitual. That is a belief. So if I think to myself, money doesn't grow on trees, money that's hard to come by, and I keep repeating that over and over and over again, that will become a locked in belief in my mind. And moving forward, I'm going to have an issue because my belief is going to be that it is very difficult to make money. And therefore, my results in the external world are going to be I'm not going to be able to build that business. I'm not going to be able to get that job. I'm not going to be able to do the things that would bring me that extra income because I implanted a belief into my subconscious mind. And remember, a belief is just a thought that you thought over and over and over again. So the more we say something, the more it becomes a belief. And then that belief gets stored into our subconscious mind. And that belief becomes a program that runs just like on a computer system. It's there and it'll run over and over and over again until we start to reprogram it. I'm about to read something in the book that talks about God and the Bible. And sometimes you may hear Jesus and you may hear different religious beings spoken about. Let's just hear it as divine, something larger than us, whatever that is. Just because I may read Jesus, it doesn't mean that you have to believe in Jesus. Just because it says the Bible or a specific Bible, it doesn't mean that you need to believe in that. We're just taking this information and we're using it to help us. So if that doesn't work for you, just cut it out. Just say, okay, and instead of me thinking about Jesus or me thinking about God in this way or me thinking about this Bible, I'm just going to take it in however I would want to take it in. There's a higher power, a higher being, universal intelligence. Make it work for you. So let's go back to the book here. Your Bible says in simple, clear, and beautiful way, whosoever shall say unto the mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast onto the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he saith. Mark 11:23. All that's saying is whatever we say and whatever we say out loud and whatever we think internally is going to come to fruition. If we say it enough over and over again, if we think it enough over and over again, that will be our experience in the world. The law of your mind is the law of belief. The law of your mind is the law of belief. This means to believe in the way your mind works, to believe in belief itself. The belief in your mind is the thought of your mind that is simple, just that and nothing else. If we can start to believe that what we plant in our mind and what we speak out loud is what's going to create our reality, and we just form that as a belief, and the way that we form it as a belief is it's again a thought that we think over and over again. We think that thought over and over and over. That will become a belief for us. That's all that a belief is. So let's take on the belief that this subconscious power within me, when used in the right way, will allow me to get and have the things that I want. Most importantly, it'll allow me to have that confidence and strength within me that I sometimes search for out there. It actually exists right within me. All your experiences, events, conditions, and acts are the reactions of the subconscious mind to your thoughts. All your experiences, events that occur, conditions that occur, and acts are reactions of your subconscious mind to your thoughts. You're in control. You have the power. Remember, it is not the thing believed in, but the belief in your own mind which brings about the result. It's your belief in your mind that I have this power, this ability that's already within me, that's controlling all the organs in my body, that's controlling my breathing and blinking. And I'm just using that power to help me get more of what it's already giving me. Cease believing in the false beliefs, opinions, superstitions, and fears of mankind. Begin to believe in the eternal verities and truths of life which never change. Then you will move onward, upward, and Godward. Let's talk about superstitions for a second. You ever see someone, they're watching a football game and it's the Super Bowl. And so they're like, for the last number of games, I had my sock positioned in this way and I sat resting like this and I had my hand up in the air. And they come up with this belief that if they're to do that exact same thing that they were doing the last time, somehow that thing is going to change the outcome of the game. That's a superstition. That's nonsense. It doesn't work. There's a million people watching the game, and you sitting in a certain position isn't going to change the outcome of that game. And actually, if you think about it, the players playing the game, whatever they're believing in their mind and whatever they're thinking and whatever they're all saying is what's going to ultimately determine the outcome of that game. Whoever reads this book and applies the principles of the subconscious mind herein set forth will be able to pray scientifically and effectively for himself and for others. Your prayer is answered according to the universal law of action and reaction. Let me talk about that for a moment. Action, reaction. If I put out negativity into the world, there's a very good chance the reaction will be negative. For example, someone cuts me off on the road. I pull up next to him and I give him the finger. Because I'm putting out that negative thing out into the world, the reaction most likely would be what? That person's going to get all pissed off, give me the finger, may start yelling, may start chasing me, and lead to something that's not going to be good. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So we really want to pay attention to the words we're speaking, the thoughts we're thinking, the actions we're taking, because whatever we're doing consistently, we're going to get an opposite reaction. Thought is incipient action. The reaction is the response from your subconscious mind, which corresponds with the nature of your thought. Busy your mind with the concepts of harmony, health, peace, and goodwill, and wonders will happen in your life. What it's saying here is, instead of thinking in the negative way, start thinking positive thoughts. Start putting good in your mind. When you're looking at other people and there's a tendency to want to judge them, rather than doing that, put positive thoughts. Say a prayer for them. Say, I hope that they're able to get what they want in their life. I hope they have happiness and peace in their life. By putting that out there, there's an equal and opposite reaction to that. And we start getting some more of the things that we want. We're not doing it for that reason and purpose, but that's the law. So we want to start to use these laws to our advantage. And again, it's practice. You may mess up tomorrow. You may not do it the way you've learned today to do it. Listen to this again over and over and over and over. And what you will have happen over time is you will build a habit and you will build an understanding of these principles and your life will change, period. By the way, I'm saying that because I've used these principles in my one-on-one coaching practice with a lot of people, and the results are incredible. And it's incredible because, again, they don't understand, or they didn't understand when they came to me, these principles. They start to learn them. They start to use them. They start to see that they work, and then the rest takes care of itself. The results literally go through the roof because they have a belief in themselves and they have a belief in these principles that they never had before. So we're going to pause here. This is going to be the end of podcast 1. We're going to pick up next time on podcast 2 with duality of my mind. By the way, I'm going to ask you to do this one thing for me. I'm going to spend all this time and energy and effort really just trying to help make a difference. Let's take this podcast and share it with someone that you think would really benefit them. We want to spread it. I remember I went to this seminar years ago, and this is how I'm going to end everything. I went to this seminar. It was the end of the seminar, and the facilitator was on stage, and the facilitator had a candle, and everyone in the audience also had a candle, but no one's candles were lit. He's there with his candle, and he has the lights turned off completely. Now it's pitch black in the room. There's about 300 people in the room. And he takes a lighter and he lights his candle. And he says, you see, this light right here is the light that I have inside of me. This is light that I can take. And he turns around and he hides it. And he says, I can try to hide it and keep it all to myself. And then he steps into the audience and he lights someone's candle. And he says, I can share my light with other people. And then that person took their candle and shared their light. And before you knew it, the entire room was lit up, bright as can be, all coming from one person's candle that they shared. So if you ever wonder, am I really making a difference in this world? Just take your light and share it with another person. And when you do that, you're going to be making a huge difference in their life. And that ripple effect that you probably will never see continues on and on and on. So share this with other people. And I want to thank you for being here. And I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Have a wonderful day.